5 centimeters per second is a 2007 anime directed, written, and produced by Makoto Shinkai. It's a three-part romantic drama closing in at around an hour or 65 minutes. The story centers around Takaki Tono, from when he's a young boy to when he becomes an adult, and his first love that haunts him until the end of the film. In the first part of the movie, we see Takaki as a boy in a new school who befriends another new kid named Akari Shinohara. They share similar interests and become close friends. However, after elementary school, Akari needs to change schools again and moves to a different prefecture. This breaks their hearts as they're all each other really had in school and probably saw each other growing up together as friends or even something more. Akari moves and they start middle school. They keep in touch through letters, though the letters get further and further apart as time goes on. It's later revealed that Tono needs to move again for high school to a city all the way across the country. So Tono takes the long and treacherous journey in the snow to see Akari one last time before he moves. This part of the movie is honestly breathtaking. The scenery, the long agonizing wait, the sound of the winter wind rushing through the train station, it's incredible. The artistry of the entire film can't be overstated enough, but the train scenes are just everything. While waiting for hours in the cold, Tono loses the letter he wrote to Akari confessing his feelings for her, another blow to Tono as he continues to sit in silence, feeling like a failure and hoping Akari doesn't wait for him. But of course, when he gets to the station, there she is. The two shed a couple of tears and then eat the delicious anime food Akari cooked for them. They then walk to a dormant cherry blossom tree, where the two kiss, and this leads to another heartbreakingly true scene, and that is the speech Tono gives where he says that though this is everything he's always wanted, he knows that this is also the beginning of the end, and that their romance and love is doomed. It was like I was sharing every experience I'd ever had in my past 13 years, and then, the next moment, I became unbearably sad. I didn't know what to do with these feelings, her warmth, her soul. How was I supposed to treat them? That I did not know. Then, right then, I clearly understood that we would never be together. Our lives not yet fully realized, the vast expanse of time. They lay before us, and there was nothing we could do. But then, all my worries, all my doubt, started melting away. All that was left were Akari's soft lips on mine. Like, if that doesn't make your eyes well up, I don't know what will. In my opinion, Shinkai's words capture something that's so hard to put into words, and that is the haunting feeling of love, but not just any love, but the haunting feeling of young love. There's a maturity that these characters have of knowing that they have to part ways and go live their own lives, and that they can't hold on to each other forever, that not a lot of kids and teens have, and I think it's important that this film kind of teaches that. I think for a lot of young people, life is very in the moment. It's now or never, all or nothing. But 5 centimeters per second doesn't talk down to kids who are hopelessly in love with their middle school crush, but rather, it talks to them. And it's so frustrating sometimes because they could just tell each other how they feel and start dating and doing the long distance thing, but they're both mature enough to know that it's just not meant to be, and yeah, it sucks and it'll follow them to the grave, but you can't live life in the past or dwelling on the what-ifs. The next morning when they part, Akari chooses not to give Tono the letter confessing her feelings for him because what's the point? They kissed and that's all they'll have, and I guess all they'll ever need to validate their feelings for one another. And though this seems like an easy decision at first, we see later in the movie that it was actually harder than they'll ever know, specifically for Tono. In the second part, Tono is in high school and a girl named Kane has an unbearably huge crush on Tono. It was love at first sight, but she never had the guts to say anything to him. They're friends and he's nice to her, but it's clear he's still stuck in the past, thinking about Akari and writing emails to no one. I wonder when I got in the habit of writing messages to nobody, Tono thinks to himself one night. Then, one day, Kane decides to pluck up the courage and tell Tono how she really feels, but just the thought of being rejected by him and just the general pain of opening yourself up to someone and being vulnerable breaks her and she starts to cry. Before she can get the words out, a space satellite is launched and the two stare at it silently, thinking about things that are bigger than themselves, and Kane realizes that Tono is always looking past her and that telling him the truth won't change that. It's such a devastatingly sad ending, but it's also just a perfect sequitur to part 3. Kane, like Tono, wants a relationship with someone they can't have. And it's sad and it's freaking hard. I mean, Kane even cries herself to sleep in the last scene of part 2, and she even goes to the airport to see Tono's plane take off in the end. The film doesn't shy away from heartbreak, and that's another reason why I think it's so good. So part 3 and the last part of the film centers around Tono as an adult. We see that he's been trying to get over Akari and even has a girlfriend and a job. But still, after 10 to 15 odd years later, he cannot shake Akari from his mind. He's still haunted by what they could have been and why they could never be. He ends up breaking up with his girlfriend and quitting his job after realizing he's been suppressing his depression for too long. And you might be thinking that Tono is just this melodramatic guy that can't get over his first crush, and it's like, get over it, dude. And honestly, yeah, I felt like that sometimes too when I rewatched the film when I was in college, when I was a bit younger than I am now. So before I get to the conclusion of the film and this video, I'd like to share a personal aside. I was introduced to this film when I was in high school by my friend, and I too at this time was hung up on, a crush, let's say. And yeah, the film really just spoke to me for obvious reasons, and I really connected with it. I've been rewatching this film for probably over a decade now, and I keep coming back to it because every time I watch it, I see something new. When I first watched it, it helped me get over some hard feelings I was having. When I watched it when I was in college and I was immersed in the bad faith media criticism landscape and being a cynical critic, I was intent on pointing out all the plot holes in the film and also intent on calling Tono misogynist, I guess. Now, at 25 years old, and as someone who's been out of high school for well over a decade now, I see the film in a new light. I see the film as speaking a truth that is so hard to put into words, and that is the feeling of haunting. The love that haunts Tono haunts so many of us. Whether it be a crush, a lover, a friend, their absence and what ifs in life follow us into our dreams, in the time spent waiting for a train, or walking around a city at night in the snow. It's a cold emptiness in reality that in life you won't get everything you want. It's a really hard thing to deal with, but through Takaki we can sit in that sadness, but also learn to live with it and move on and heal. And that might take a better half of a decade, a whole decade, or even your whole life. But doing the work to not sit in the sadness or the darkness is worth doing because you need to be able to see the beauty that's in front of you or risk life passing you by. 5 centimeters per second isn't afraid to wade in the melodrama and embrace the sadness because it's something that's part of the human experience and is worth exploring. So back to the ending of the film. So in the last few scenes of the film, we see Tono walking through Tokyo at night in the winter, and we also see that Akari is engaged to be married happily with another guy. Sometime later in the spring, we see Akari and Tono walk on the train tracks where they used to walk when they were kids, and they seem not to recognize each other at first. Then, when Tono finally decides to look up, he is met with a train rushing by, and then another one. After both trains finally depart, we see that Akari isn't there waiting for him, and Tono gives a little half smile, telling us, the audience, that maybe he's ready to start his journey on living in the present rather than the past. The ending sequence is accompanied with a song entitled One More Time, One More Chance by Masayoshi Yamazaki. And if you haven't seen the video or heard the song already, watch it here on YouTube. You will not regret it. Before Tono meets Akari at the train tracks, we see a sequence that is played with this song, and it shows scenes of them staring at their mailboxes, longingly waiting for letters that will never come, being distracted at school, thinking they saw each other's face on a train somewhere, and lastly them with their current partners. And that's the end of the film. The two never talk again as adults or reconcile. They just need to go about their lives and move on, and it's hard, but it's so real, and that's why I love this movie. 5 centimeters per second is probably my favorite movie of all time. I keep coming back to it, and even if you're not invested in the love story, there's so much artistry to appreciate in this film that it's just worth the watch to look at the beautiful painting. So that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed this mini rant, I guess, about my favorite movie of all time, and I just wanted to share it with you guys just in case you haven't heard of it and want to check it out. My next video is going to be about another one of my favorite movies, and that is Lady Bird, so be on the lookout for that one. And yeah, please like this video, leave a comment, subscribe, and ring the bell to be notified every time I post a new video. And yeah, welcome to the channel. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much to all of my subscribers and my patrons. You guys make my day every day, so thank you so much. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one.